What's up, everybody, as we connect to the internet and get this week's Our Perspective started? Um, Making sure everything looking good. Yes, we are live on Facebook and we are still connecting to Twitch, but it looks like we should be up and running in a second. Welcome back, everyone. Another week has passed and we are here ready to come and tell you our perspectives on the different things that happened this week, life topics. This show's more casual than our interviews, which we gotta tell you, the Danny Cortez, you gotta go watch that one. It's on this channel. You can go ahead and learn a lot about a very interesting person. And upcoming this Monday, I believe is the first, is going to be the release of the Double AB next episode of Perspectives, an interesting interview with another fine person. But that's where we learn about other people and enhance our knowledge through their perspectives. And this show is where we tell you our perspectives. My name is Holden Stephan Roy. And we got Littyyy Bro Flacko over there promoting the event across the social medias as we get started here. And we've got another bunch of topics that we are excited to share with you. And if you have topics that you want to see us cover over the course of the week, definitely let us know in the comments so that we can make sure to add that to the list and include you in the show. We'll definitely shout you out if we end up using one of your topics. And we want you to know that this is a discussion, right? As much as we're telling you our perspectives, we want to hear your perspectives as well. And then we all get to enhance our collective experience together. Yeah, so welcome back. This is episode 9. We are coming up on the 10th episode, which is fun. The higher that number goes, the more enthusiastic I get about projects. It's like the score in a video game. But yeah, so we typically start off with talking about our weekends. So while Flacco's finishing up there, I'll just go on about my weekend where, what did I even do? I feel like it was a lot more calm. Right, no, last weekend was 420 and stuff, so we did the show, and then I did my show, which was great, because the event was pretty successful, and people had fun. So in case anyone doesn't know, I threw a concert last Friday. What's really important is the venue's down, and now we can just use it for free, which is wonderful, and it's in my neighborhood, so it's great. And now the next one's going to be on the 25th of May. Then the next day I went to some random thing, brought my USB key, performed. That was fun. It was cool meeting people from outside of town. Sometimes it's these little small events where you really can get the most networking out of it, whereas the bigger ones, they're fun, but it's not the same environment. Rest of the week was calm, mostly at home, mostly kind of just catching up on stuff and, real life, regular, boring things. And, yeah, that leads us to here. And now, trying to make that part a little more concise because wasn't as enthusiastic as the last couple of weeks.
Right. Last weekend I celebrated my birthday. Um, I already think I talked about the sugar bar, so I talked about my birthday, and then Friday after the show went out. What was it that we did? Fuck me for not being able to remember right now. We did something that Friday.
You did be like, I'm gonna stay home and work, and then you're like, fuck that, I'm going out to party, which was, in my opinion, the appropriate thing to do for your birthday. Like
Right.
maybe every other week of the year, you can act like, okay, I'll be serious, but nah, you should turn up for your birthday, because if you don't, who else will?
Who else will? Um, I don't know. I partied. Yeah, it was a good time. Good time was had by all. And then I enjoyed the first topic of this week, which was the fight last week. I had made a post. I was like, man, I really want to find a Latin bar that's going to be rooting for Ryan Garcia. So I'd go in there and just root for Tank and look at them all as Garcia loses and be like, cheer really loud, exactly when they're all really silent as he gets knocked out, and be like, after I cheer. Anybody have anything to say?
I feel like that's your
um,
staring etherly face.
definitely. But regardless, it was a great fight. It was a fantastic fight. Tank stopped him in, I forgot what round. I believe it was the seventh or the eighth with liver punch. A lot of people were speculating online if it was a staged fight because a liver punch has a delayed reaction sometimes.
Right.
Um, you lose your breath, you get a shortness of breath, and your body starts shutting down on you. And that doesn't always happen immediately the way a knockout punch to the head happens.
Right.
People that don't watch boxing don't understand that. I've been watching boxing since the 80s. I come from a boxing watching family. We are pugilist fanatics and we understand the sport. So we did not sound like a bunch of ignorant idiots online. It was a fantastic fight. It was beautiful, beautiful watching Tank.
Honestly, what I can say is I actually knew that this happened because it flooded my Facebook. Like a lot of people watched this fight, and I could usually tell if a fight was good or bad based on the conversation the next day. And people were
Right.
hella excited about this one. They were into it. No one felt cheated. No one felt like it was too quick or nothing. It just seemed like
Mm-mm.
if this is
Mm-hmm.
your jam, this is the fight for you. But most importantly,
Listen,
the,
a
the
lot of
losing
that
streak,
shit
right?
where people don't like when people get upset. Even that shit is something that I used to get upset about. Where like people get upset at like, oh, this fight ended so fast, and it's like most times when this happens, it's a heavyweight fight. Heavyweights are fucking huge human beings. It's more natural for them to have quicker fights. They're not built for endurance and stamina. They're built to
Mm.
knock you the fuck out in the first few rounds because they don't have the stamina. And that's the good thing about boxing is you're fighting in your weight class. So you're not going to have two heavyweights that are like, yeah, I want to go 12 rounds. I mean, they can, the great ones, right? Like Muhammad Ali was a great heavyweight that could go the distance, but it's usually not what's happening. And most really exciting heavyweight fighters, like Mike Tyson, for example, he was one that people complained about a lot when I remember when I was young, my father even complained when he I think it was when he first came back and he knocked somebody out like in the first round real quick. My father was upset at how much he paid. It's just like, bro, this is the exciting. This is what he does. Like, I wanted him to knock this guy out. I didn't expect Mike Tyson to go 12 fucking rounds with him. I expect Oscar De La Hoya, who is a fucking middleweight, to go 12 rounds a majority of his fights. I expect fucking Mayweather, who's a lightweight, like Wade, he was a middleweight also, not a middleweight. He was I forgot his weight class, exact welterweight, I believe. But the point is, he's not even a middleweight. You know what I mean? So it's just like the smaller guys get, the more often their fights go the distance. The bigger guys get, the quicker that the fight ends fast. It's just really one of those things where, like, if you don't know the sport, you're gonna sound ignorant to people who do know the sport. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And I'm not even. I have friends who like go to boxing fight, go to the matches all the time. I have Donovan Cass, who is like red collects signatures from all the boxers on gloves at fights. He shows up to Madison Square Garden for fights. He travels to Las Vegas for fights. He is a fight fanatic, and I'm not even that, and people look dumb to me. You know what I mean? So like, it's just one of those things where like, but boxing is one of those sports where like your average person does get into it. Like
Right.
a thing that your average person likes. People cannot. You, for example, right? I don't think that you've mentioned like really going to a sporting event or
Nah.
even going to a bar to watch a sporting event
I
ever.
find it like boxing and stuff. I don't know. There's some part of me that's like, they're actually fighting each other. I don't know. I have trouble getting into it. Whereas I could watch wrestling, where it's more choreographed and it's more of like a storyline playing out. but like UFC is brutal, and like that doesn't. It's not really my like go to. However, the highlight reels are
That
very
is pretty
fascinating.
hilarious, yo. That
It's a
is
fact
pretty
though.
fucking.
Like I just never like I mean I'm not mad at it. A lot of people love it. I just
Right.
don't. I'm not
Yeah,
that
yeah.
violent of a person.
I'm definitely a fight fanatic. So like UFC, boxing, I'm with all of it. I'm with all that.
Like
I wanna see the pain.
my
I've
uncle
been
used to
through the
train with
pain.
George St. Pierre and them. Like it's like even people in my family and shit be like down for that. I'm like, eh. I mean
Yeah,
hockey's cool
most people
and
are.
shit like
That
that,
was
but
that's what I
that's
was gonna
different.
get to. I was gonna say that you possibly would be into a boxing match. I was wrong, right? But like to emphasize that there's probably even people that you know that aren't sport fanatics like that that will tune into a big boxing match
Absolutely.
every once in a blue
Absolutely.
moon.
I like it's like the people who don't watch the NFL all year long and then all of a sudden are
Watch
huge
the
fans
Super
on the
Bowl.
Super Bowl. Huge fans,
Right,
spend the whole day doing it. Um,
right,
but yeah,
right.
so like
It's
if
kind
you
of
watch
like Christians
with their
with
holidays, that is,
Christmas,
and
right?
Easter
Christmas they
and
go to.
shit.
I mean, I think that applies to all because I think I've heard it referenced in. I've heard Peter Rosenberg on Hot 97 referencing not going to what do you guys call it again? Um,
Synagogue.
Synagogue, right? Because I was gonna say
Unless it's like
mosque, but
Yom Kippur or
that's
some shit like
Islam.
that.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas just like some particular holiday,
Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah, like the high holidays. Like there's the big ones. You gotta pull up for those, and then you can skip like the rest of the year. Like the one that's like Halloween where people get drunk, Purim. It's not as important as say like the Day of Atonement.
or
But yeah,
right.
for you watching this, let us know if you want to see the long fight or the short fight. If any of this even matters to you, if you're putting up the money, are you mad if somebody's getting knocked out in the first round of a
Word.
fight?
Are you?
Because yeah, that's what we want to know.
Trying to touch Gucci.
Are you willing to look silly on the internet with your opinions? um, the next one is the NBA playoffs round. You can go on about that. I don't know a lot about the NBA playoffs. um,
NBA playoffs are going on. Listen, I just know I stopped watching the NBA like the year that LeBron uh, left to go to the Lakers because I knew that he wasn't going to be winning a chip the first couple of years. And really, there was no, I don't know, my passion
Yo, what up,
for
Zamanel and
watching.
Preach in the chat?
What happened?
We have Zamanel and Forever Preach in the chat, so I was just saying what
Oh,
up quick.
word. Shouts to Zamanel. Shouts to Forever Preach. Forever Preach. Isn't that the homie Forever Preach that be DJing?
Yeah, he'd be the one that's DJing and whatnot on stream.
I've caught a couple of his lives since following him, and man, does a great mix. Shouts to you guys. I stopped watching this year. I'm aware because everywhere I go, my fellow New Yorkers are in a fucking fever over the Knicks being in the playoffs and being able to get out of the first round. They beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, which is like not really much of an accomplishment, like from what I understand. And I keep on telling them, like, they get too happy. And I'm like, yo, the Knicks are going to start nicking any fucking minute now, bro. Like, don't get happy. The Knicks are going to start nicking, and you guys are going to be sad. And they listen, I love my New York teams. I'm a New York head to the death of me. Everybody knows me, knows that for a fact. My favorite sports team of all time is, of course, the Yankees. I'm from the Bronx. It has to be, or it has to be because I chose it to be. I actually come from a Mets family. My entire family, my mom, my father, my grandfather, my uncles, my sister, my older brother, they were all fucking Mets fans. And I grew up in the 80s when the Yankees were losing regularly the way we are right now. And I became a Yankees fan when we were in the middle of losing for the longest period in time in the entire history of the organization is when I became a Yankees fan. When the Mets were actually winning, Um, I love my Yankees. I love all New York teams, but the Knicks aren't gonna fucking win. They're gonna start nicking in this new series versus the Heat. The Heat is gonna beat them, and it is what it is. You know what I mean? I wish that the Lakers would win. I want LeBron to have another ring. That's who I'm rooting for, but I doubt that they will either. NBA, yay.
Yeah. NBA news. I gotta answer this question because it's not relevant to life in Canada. But forever
I'm seeing them
preach.
ask questions. You gotta talk about it.
I'm mad into that one because yo, so C11 just passed.
Read the questions for the
Sorry,
people.
I was updating the timestamp too. I'm multitasking here, okay? But forever preach goes. What's behind that who's saying about Bill C11? Good law, look or nah? CRTC about to turn the internet into the Beat 92.5. This law is so undefined on how it's going to actually play out that it's either going to be super wonderful or super fucking terrible.
Why don't you tell people what the law is?
Yeah. So the quick version of this law is like the way Canadian media works. They have to play like 30% Canadian content across things. So like if you're a radio, you have to play that much Canadian stuff.
Oh, we talked about this last week.
Yeah, we touched on it. Yeah, so it's that law, but it got passed today, so it's like official. So it's 35% now. Preach is informing me. So basically, the premise of this law is that places like YouTube and other platforms are going to be obliged to promote X amount of Canadian content. And the problem people have with this law is that no one knows what Canadian content really means in the eyes of the government, and no one's really talking about this. What it means for the Liberals and what it means for the Conservatives and what it means for the NDP, it doesn't mean it's going to be the same thing. So now we're at the subject and whimsy of whatever government's in power and what they perceive pro-Canadian content to be. So these guys are pro-weed. If the next guys are anti-weed, it could be that smoking a spliff on stream all of a sudden is not Canadian content that needs to be pushed. So my thoughts are, if it turns out being like my passport says I'm Canadian, therefore my content gets a boost, I'm super for this. But if it ends up being my personality is not the right kind of Canadian and I get stifled, it's a scary precedent, and I think both things could end up being true at once with this law, and it's going to depend on how court cases get settled over the next couple of years as shit plays out, and things are going to change, I guess. I hope it means I get a boost, but we'll see, I guess. Like, I think it's a scary precedent for censorship that has the potential to give the right Canadians a push, which I guess is how record labels and mainstream people go. So if you play to that norm, I don't know. So I feel like I'm not going to be Canadian enough to get my shit pushed. Is my real thoughts on how this is going to play out.
You always throughout our show history, you've always expressed that Quebec is a very Quebecois, French, heavy on the French Canadian province. Province? Province,
Yeah,
correct?
It's a province,
in Canada. So, and by that, I've always took it to mean that French rap is the more prevalent rap, more so than English rap in Quebec.
Yeah.
And so, therefore, it would stand to say that just knowing that one little piece of information tells me that more than likely, English leaning entertainment on all these streaming platforms and radio and all that stuff will probably take a back seat in Quebec to the French Quebecois music and entertainment leaning heavy content.
That's an interesting
That's
thing.
it. Off rip, just knowing nothing but bare bone facts of what you're telling me, that's what it sounds like it's about to happen to you.
It could be like that, but then it's
hopefully
there's like,
it's not.
like as you say that, it gets more complex, right? Because Quebec and Canada don't like each other, so it could be that like in Quebec, all of a sudden a bunch of French gets pushed, but then the rest of Canada starts pushing English, and like there's so many avenues that this
Right.
can go. But what Forever Preach says is this can give them the oversight to stifle our content if it's deemed
Yes.
anti-Canadian. Because pro
Absolutely.
Quebecois is definitely anti-Canadian, right? Like
Word.
so it's gonna go deeper than that. Like I mean, federal politics is less relevant to my life, I find most days, but this is a federal
Yes.
level thing. And whereas Quebec is highly provincial, so look at it like, for the people watching, like New York State may not agree with the federal government, or like how Cali and the federal government treat weed are mad different. So like it's kind of one of those situations where like Quebec already overwrote the Canadian weed laws to make their own weed laws and shit like that. So I guess we'll see how it really plays out. But I think the real fear is that a lot of us are gonna like I Google searched Biden bucks because I was curious what would come up because I thought it was an interesting term that I recently encountered, and there's nothing on Google. You have to actually go to DuckDuckGo to find that term. In fact, there's a song with that name that's lyrics don't exist on Genius, and I was like, that's bizarre. So that kind of stuff I think is where it's really gonna happen. Like all of a sudden your anti-Trudeau rhetoric is gonna be all of a sudden stifled in a big ass way. Anyway,
Right. No, that definitely, I believe, will be part of what's happening here.
yeah, but it's actually pretty huge news for Canadian content across the board. Like it could arguably change everything about the gatekeeping and the
Yeah.
access to things. But that's
Yeah.
usually good for
Absolutely.
the underground because that means more
Yeah.
people are going to support the underground shit.
Absolutely. No, you guys will definitely see an influx of Canadian talent, period, across the board. And I'm sure that even though some of it will be, because even when you, let's were to say, right, that what Preach is saying, uh, what up, Lindell? That's Lindell, right?
Yeah, Lamy likes Lindell.
Word up. Word up. What up, Lindell? Even if let's were to say a scenario happens where what Preach is talking about ends up happening, right? And they stifle your content and it's deemed anti-Canadian, right? That means that they're going to be going for pro-Canadian content that doesn't talk anti-government, anti-whatever, powers that be, right? And
Yeah.
even then, right, you're going to find that there's going to be somebody in that content that you like because it's never overt, right? Things like this aren't overt. They're not like they're not gonna be on radio or on TV like, haha, we're the ones replacing you talkity talkers who are anti-government. They're just gonna be being them. And
Nah,
there's
and
gonna be
then
some of those
you'll.
people that you like, and there's gonna be some of those people that you feel the oh, this feels if I can, you feel the, what is it that they call it with the industry plants. You're gonna
Mm.
feel the industry plantiness of it. You know,
But then what's gonna
um,
happen is a lot of okay, like the way I look at art and creation is there's two camps of people. There's the people who do what they want to do in it to whether or not it works, and then there's the people who are already AI bots but pretend they're not. So that second group of people is going to all of a sudden start creating this pro Canadian content in the vein of what they believe the algorithm's going to promote, and it's going to shift mainstream content if it has like a huge impact where like all of a sudden you're going to see like I don't know, let's say geography videos of your local city are popping. Everyone's going to jump on that trend, and like that kind of shit I see really taking over. And if you say fuck too much and they're like, nah, we don't like that, watch how everyone starts censoring everything, which arguably
absolutely,
YouTube's already doing. But
absolutely,
I like saying fuck more than I like not saying fuck.
right, right, definitely. No, these are all things that you guys will definitely end up seeing across the next couple months. What it is that you end up having to deal with
Facts.
and where it lands. And then you
All right.
have to decide from there if you want to play the game with them by their rules or you want to stand on your morals and your character and your integrity and you want to just say fuck what the way, you know? This is something that I dealt with battle rap, right? Which is like fueled with like a lot of, especially back then when I came up, grind time was fueled through a lot of white um racist people all over the world that like, you know, have no problem like wanting their approach to me when I started getting online and talking about the things that matter to me, such as like social issues, right, and black issues in America. And they essentially hit me with the shut up and dribble. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like I'm here to like hear you battle rap. I'm here to be a fan of your battle rap. I like you as a battle rapper. I don't want you saying any of this. To which I'm like, I don't give a fuck what you want. You can go. Like I'm not this. I'm dripping, baby. Like, and it's real. Okay, I can put water on. I can take a shower in my jewelry. Okay, and my skin doesn't change colors. So like I got money. I don't need the fans. Like, listen, I want it right as much as any artist wants it. I
Right.
want to have access to a lot of people so that I can gauge how much my shit is liked by how many people like it, right? Um, and who likes it, how they like it, what they like, right? But regardless, I still do that with what I have. So
Right.
like whether I have 10,000 fans, 1,000 fans, 100 fans, 1 million fans, it doesn't like my energy is always gonna stay the same, you know, and that's that I'm not gonna compromise who I am, regardless of who's offering what dollar amount. Like my soul isn't for sale in that way. Um, but I'm not mad at people whose souls are for sale. Like, yo,
I'm not
you
mad at
know,
that either.
there's certain people that are like, yo, I don't okay, and for different reasons. Like for as many toxic reasons, there's also legitimate great reasons. I got a huge family. I come from a family of 10. I've got 5 kids, and I got a lot of nephews and nieces, and I got grandkids already, and I got kids, and or I don't got grandkids. I'm a grandkid, but like I'm the and we come from a legacy of not making it. You know what I mean? It's the same thing as college and shit like that. You know, like you become the so like if you have the opportunity and you see it and you're like, yo, I am gonna sell out. I'm not mad at you. Like, but for me, I can't do that. I stand on what I stand on, and I can make money in other ways without doing that. But you guys are gonna be coming to that place where you'll be making those decisions soon.
That's kind of what I think is going to happen. I mean, I feel like we're already there. It's just this is going to change what the marketable content
You've already
becomes.
been dealing with a lot of this stuff, buddy. Just do Twitch.
I mean, I think anybody that creates content in the last
Censorship and
all of it,
all of
but
it. Streaming,
now it's just
YouTube.
like
The If Danny
so it's
interview
so
starting
the
off
only
with
thing
us
I can say is
conversing
kind
about
of
not
different
breaking.
is like it's like when the government gets involved, it transcends platforms and it becomes unavoidable. It's everywhere you go in the country. Whereas previously, if I chose Twitch because it let me behave how I wanted. I can't smoke weed on TikTok live. I can't do the copyright
Mm-hmm.
shit on Facebook or
Mm-hmm.
YouTube. So Twitch became the obvious place to create the
Mm-hmm.
content I want to make. But if the government tells Twitch, fuck this Canadian, then what am I supposed to do to that? That's like I mean, granted, I'm gonna keep pushing, but like it
Yeah, but you keep
changes.
pushing. You
It's
keep
not like it's
pushing
gonna
because
stop
a
me
fucking pirate.
personally.
You get
I would
FYI.
just
No,
make
real
content
quick.
about
I'm
it.
cutting you off, buddy. Listen, if that happens, what you're doing is getting the goddamn fucking those covers that they got on radio stations for the mic, and you get the pirate logo all over it and put it on your fucking mic. That's what you do. You pirate
Facts.
radio now.
That's it.
You
I'd
know what
be
I
like,
mean?
okay,
Now
fine. I'm
that's
the
another appeal.
anti-Canadian hero. Let's fucking go. Like, I mean, in the context of it, I like Canada. I'm not like hating on it, but Canada want to tell me I'm not Canadian enough to be Canadian. Well, fuck it. Then I'm not Canadian enough to be
Right.
Canadian.
Exactly.
Watch how I
Exactly.
rep Quebec more or something. Then get the Quebec love, because if that law gets translated to Quebec, who knows? Anyway, English people promoting French content in Quebec may be a flex. Okay, anyway.
We just spent a long time talking
A
about
long time.
France. I mean France. Damn.
Quebec. Anyway, next topic is the deaths
No,
of
not
the
even Quebec. We were talking about Canada.
yeah, and
It's a
all of it.
Canadian law. It's a federal Canadian law. So it's
See,
the
we're
whole country.
Canadian content government of Canada.
I tell you this, you know who's definitely seeing a pay bump all across the board? You know who?
Who?
Drizzy.
Yeah, facts.
Drizzy.
Yeah, absolutely. Across the board. Across the board. Without fucking question. That
Yo,
took a second.
preach. If you still here, Brody, you gotta start playing more Drake, bro. You know what I'm saying? You gotta start
Anyway.
playing more Drake. And they want to hear I used to call on cell phone.
Dude, dude. Night, night, Wendy. I don't win
Anyway,
that.
right.
So it
Yo,
was a big
shouts to Canada. Half
shout
of
out to
us are
Canada.
Canadian.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, half of us on
Of the
this show.
perspectives.
And that and by that I mean Holden's Canadian. Holden's Canadian. Um, uh,
So moving on, a bunch of people died this week. Terrible segue.
oh my God. Yo, you know what though? We're really staying on topic, right? Because we started off talking about our weekends, where shouts out to the death of our memory, because neither one of us could remember our last weekend immediately. Then we talked about Tank defeating Garcia. They were both undefeated, so rest in peace to Garcia's undefeated record. Then we talked about the NBA playoffs, and like the Knicks, they're gonna end up losing.
Their
So rest
future
in peace
death.
to the Knicks efforts. You know what I mean? And now we're at like, yo, Jerry Springer died this week. Harry Belafonte died. Um, Emmett Till's accuser finally died, and Rest in Hell trended. Um, and um, I have a friend, Jukes Goods clothing line, creator, QC. There's a lot of pictures of us back in grind time days wearing Jukes Goods clothing, and the founder of that passed away. That was really sad. Harry Belafonte sad. I was never a Jerry Springer kid. I was never a Jerry Springer fan. I'm not really a fan of that type of content. But at the same time, I know many latchkey kids who grew up being raised by Jerry, because that was what their, parents had to do to like make things do. And like, I'm not mad at anybody who grew up in a household where like your parents had to work to make do, and you had to be a latchkey kid, and they didn't have the privilege of raising you like in an environment where like they were around you all the time, and you didn't have to be in front of a TV because they were reading and staying on top. Like, all the kids that were raised like that need to understand that that's a privilege. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And the society that's been created for us by these governments and these world leaders, like, most people can't afford that. So if you're a latchkey kid whose parents had to do what they had to do to make ends meet so they could put food in your stomach and a roof over your head, then you know what I mean? Like, Jerry Springer might have raised you, and no, I'm not mad at that. Like, for as much as I got to criticize him about, I also cannot be mad at any people who are saddened by his death. I'm also not gonna celebrate his death. You know what I mean? Like, but
Yeah.
Emmett Till's accuser, I will celebrate her death. I will
Facts.
celebrate her death. Fucking about time. It goes to show you how like sometimes karma is just like, does the bitch exist? Because it takes a lifetime. And are we depending on karma at this point, or are we depending on just humanity to take over and laws of humanity to take over? Um, yeah, I don't know.
Nah, I mean,
Preach said,
I'm with
enjoy
you
your
on that.
kid-free stream
Yeah, because
freedom
he's got
while
twins
you
now.
have it.
He's got some twins that preoccupy his time a little bit. Yo, it's definitely that somebody as a kid and you watch their grind change. Like, don't get me wrong, they still grind,
Nah,
but they can't
it's
grind the same way that
you
like when you
can't.
have no
They
kids.
can't. Yo, a child is a human. Any human being who has a child, for the most part, we all know that there's horrible examples in the world that like shitty parents or whatnot. You know what I
Facts.
mean? But for the most part, once a child is born, that is a human's, that parent's number one obligation, their number one love, their number one concern, and as it should be. My parents were very concerned with me and very involved as they could be, you know, and that wouldn't always be right enough to like stop me from doing crazy shit. I was a bad kid. But yeah, kids are like, they take up a lot of time. You know what I
But
mean?
like what Preach says, and it's something else I've seen. I know Vincent Price said the same thing to me after he had a kid. If you're smart about your grind, it just gets more focused. Because whereas I have
Right.
the luxury of sitting there wasting 3 hours if I want, you don't when you have a kid. And I don't know. It's interesting, right? I feel like
It
you
probably
waste a lot
becomes
more
more
time
focused.
when you
That was a
have no
great,
kids.
perfect,
You
perfect
can
description.
grind all the time somehow with no kids, but still manage to watch Netflix. Whereas I feel like when you have the kids, maybe that Netflix part's taking a hit in a different way.
Taking a
And
hit. Taking a
but
hit.
yeah,
For sure.
he's like
Also,
hence.
socializing is taking a hit. You know what I mean? Like for the most part.
Absolutely. Like all of
Depends.
my parent friends are like, I'm allowed out of. They use words like this. I'm allowed out of the house this many times. Oh shit, we fucking yeah, we're still on this Zoom life because we were all like, we're not gonna pay for doing Zoom at this time. Yeah, everybody's basically like, I'm allowed out of the house this many times a month, and I have to use my I'm allowed out of the houses very carefully, unless somehow this person is able to make money off their make money off the grind. So as an example, Vincent Price can come hang out with me if I pay him as a DJ to come hang out with me, but if I invite him to like just come to the crib, he's gonna be like, nah, I only got like this many times. You gotta come to me type shit. But like if we leave it in a situation where, like it's fiscally whatever, okay, then all of a sudden permission changes. But this whole parent thing changes it all. Like all of a sudden, even like with our little collective of artists, there's the ones without kids and the ones with kids, and everything about our lives is mad different. Anyway, I felt
Yeah.
like I just rambled about that until you got back.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, Jerry Springer's definitely somebody whose journalistic legacy shall forever go on. I feel like he did help change TV in the way that South Park helped change TV, making it a bit trashier and fucking with the standards of what's permissible at a time when censorship was a little too much. So I really do respect what he's done. Um, Sadness about Harry Belafonte, and yeah, karma's kind of freaking weird with how it can play out. Sometimes it kicks in right
Yo,
away.
I
Sometimes
made a
it's just
post. I made a
wild.
post about Harry Belafonte. Like I work wild events at it's an area that I was planning on actually moving to. I'm like still in the midst of trying to get there. We'll end up there for sure inside the next 5 years. But Riverside Drive in Manhattan, which is like the borderline between the Upper West Side and Harlem. Harry Belafonte would just be walking around by himself. I'd say all the time how many people like I would see Ian McKellen, I believe his name is, the guy that played
Yeah,
Magneto, right?
yeah.
Yeah. I see Ian McKellen all the time by like the 70s in Central Park. I forget if it's the east or west side because once I'm in the park and doing things, it's hard to remember which side it is that I saw him on more. I do believe it's the east side though. And He'd just be walking his dog. You know what I mean? Walking his dog through Central Park by himself, chilling. Nobody bothering him. Nobody, you know what I mean? Regular guy, just having a good time. And same with Harry Belafonte, man. Just used to see him walking around, crazy.
Yeah, it is. Um, but yeah, and sad about your friend too, or the merch dude. Just one thing I do think about deaths is there's gonna be more and more of them that we talk about, just because of social media, its publication, and there's just literally more celebrities that are gonna die at like a nominal level, just because there's more celebrities at like a nominal level. So I just imagine we're gonna see more of it. I don't know what it's gonna do to us as people, but it's gonna become almost like an everyday thing, which I see it affecting people on social media, which is why I like wonder about it. Like sometimes people take these celebrity deaths really like
Yeah,
hard, which is
yeah, right.
not something I've done. So I'm just curious if y'all out there
You know
watching
what?
this take
I can.
celebrity deaths pretty hard or not. Because, like, for me, it's like maybe Chester Bennington, but that was it. Maybe DMX, but it was like a sadness for like a day, and then it was it, you know?
Yeah, I think that's about the limit. I mean, sadness for the day. With Biggie, I cried. With Big Pun, it hurt, but it was just a day. And then, like, I mean, it was like sadness for a couple days. I remember when the "I'll Be Missing You" song came out, and
Mm.
going to school the next day, and like there almost being like a somberness amongst us because of Biggie's death. But
I
it
like what.
also was different back then, you know, like there also still weren't as many. It was really different back then, you know.
Yeah, like Preacher's
Definitely
saying, our
after
parents.
Big Pun, I don't remember ever being sad about any celebrity, or you know what I mean. Like it's just I
No,
expect it,
I still see it on Facebook. I see people get devastated, but usually it's like older folk, and like Preacher's saying, our parents' generation took it to a whole different level. Like, dead ass, my mom, half her Facebook is like a death report. Like, she just, every celebrity that dies, she shares it. Like, honestly, if my mom posted, I know what happened. She's like on some TMZ shit. But, like, yeah, fair enough. Sadness, and I guess we'll have more of these to report on, unfortunately, as time goes on. Um, Next up is the, speaking of death, I like that segue, the end of an era with Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson being fired, which is huge if you think about it. We're talking about men that were perceived as untouchables in the media sphere. We're talking media spots worth the kinds of money you would think that motherfuckers would
yeah,
not be
man.
willing to let go of.
Yeah.
Dunzos over a lawsuit of defamation related to Trump's fucking election fraud bullshit. And it's like when you think about the shit that's clipping people, Donald Trump gets taken out by Stormzy Daniels. Tucker Carlson gets clipped over fucking Fox News people being like, this motherfucker's making us say fake shit. It's just like the corniest shit is taking these people. Ew, Preach made a good point though. Tucker's about to bring independent media into a whole new era. If there's somebody that's gonna make Rumble pop, it's Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe we'll see. We talked about this last week of as far as like academics going to Rumble, and you know, I think that if there's like a wave of talent like that, from all spectrums, you know, like academics, uh, Tucker Carlson. If there's like another few more and it turns into a handful of like enough from a wide enough spectrum, it could actually fucking really like have an impact. But it'll be everybody working in unison to make, you know, because at what Rumble has had up until this point, not doing it. I don't care who the fuck went over there, who, you know what I mean? Who is over there? Who's the biggest name over there? Is
I
it
couldn't tell you.
okay, right.
Like
So right,
that's the
so
point. I couldn't tell you.
exactly. So definitely Tucker Carlson, DJ Academics. If let's were to say, you know, Kanye drops an album
Oh, I
there,
forgot academics is there.
and like to like, you know, like a podcast like Joe Button ends up over there, some shit like that, you know, or some other, you know, thing like that, or like a it could one more, you know, name like that. And if they could get, matter of fact, if they got Don Lemon, that would
But these
make
are
it like,
like,
okay,
but like
there's something
unlike the
going
other
on
names,
here.
I feel like Tucker Carlson and them, they be like a different sphere of influence to the average person. I forever
Yeah,
preach is commenting there. Like, I don't know the full behind the scenes story. To be honest, I just saw this drop and I haven't really
I'm
looked
not
that deep
surprised
into
he's
it.
saying that Rumble is a Canadian company. I'm not surprised.
But like, apparently a lot of this also has to do with Tucker going against the curb and not Rupert Murdoch not liking the fact that people have independent voices, which arguably, when you run down the media sphere of how your news works, it really is a few billionaires make a decision for their conglomerate, and you can't go against the grain. Like, it's not the government censoring it, it's billionaires doing it. So, like, anyway, that's a whole other conversation, but it is going to highly impact independent media because their following isn't going anywhere. He can just open a whatever platform he chooses is about to make a fucking payday. Is more
Right.
where it's gonna go. So I can imagine he signs an 8-figure deal with somebody on some exclusivity shit and this, that, the next thing, and it turns into like the preacher saying it's 5 million average watchers per night. Like, he might be one of the top 10 most influential voices in the United States of America. Like, um,
Uh,
well, if you think about the
yeah.
right and shit, that's like half the fucking country that really, really.
No, I mean, it's just, I think that it's just one of those things where, like, I don't know if that's like equivalent to influence, and I don't know if like those people are the most influential. You know
That's
what I
fair.
mean? Like, I I know that there's a lot of people who don't give a fuck about news and don't really care either way. It's news because it's the news, right? But like, it's not news because people care. You know
But
what I
like
mean?
he's able to take a topic and have it get so chopped up that even those people who don't care are still receiving the message via whatever their person on YouTube is talking about. And like he has that kind of a reach where he can control conversation at the mainstream level and like he could just get mad at something and it goes trending on Twitter. Like it
Yeah, no, absolutely. Listen, I'm not denying, right? Like, it's just, I'm just
mm,
saying,
apparently
top
his
most
audience
influential
isn't
are
only
the people.
conservative. He knows Rastas and Muslims that watch Tucker. I don't really watch him. Maybe I should. I don't know what I'm really missing. His reach is Andrew Tate level. That's what he's saying. Like I
Yeah,
think
nah. And listen, I mean, I'm not denying. Listen, I'm not saying that.
is that
Like,
crazy that we're using Andrew
I'm
Tate
not
as a reach
defending them.
metric.
I'm not defending them. Like, they could be ended. I just also, because I don't give a fuck about him, and
Mm,
I don't care about that content. And my response to a lot of that content is ignore it. Like, if I'm one of the people not talking about it, I'm helping. Sometimes talking about this stuff actually brings more eyeballs to it. You know what I mean? And
right.
that's what they depend on. They depend on the controversiality of it all to like bring more people and more eyeballs to their platforms. And I choose to like not talk about people I don't like. Like, that's my response to people I don't like. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Mm. Preachers say never ignore opinions and also don't take them to heart.
Yeah, nah. I mean, I'm just also not gonna waste my time with them. You know what I
That's
mean?
fair.
Like, if I already know that somebody's like kicking a bunch of like dumb shit, I'm gonna hear you one time on my own so that because I can never take somebody else's word for something, right? Like, I had to watch Andrew Tate for myself. I had to watch Kevin Samuels for myself. I gotta watch all these guys, Auburn Preach, all of them, right? Like, I gotta watch all this shit to come to my own determinations. I listen to every J. Cole album to know that I don't like J. Cole still. You know what I mean? So that I know how to criticize it very well. But I also don't talk about it because I know that my platform, I have a voice, and I have an influence myself, and I don't want to use that to like bring attention to shit that I don't respect. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I'm with that. No, I respect all this. See, this is good conversations, though. This is what I like about your
Yeah.
preach. This is what we want. More people like preach coming through and adding to the global perspectives. Um,
Yeah.
um, I like Dread Cole. Fade Cole was soft. Fair. Um,
Right. Now, I mean, listen, I didn't, I liked songs throughout it all. I didn't like nothing overall. And that's how I judge things. You know what I mean?
right.
Like, if I like a thing, then I like a thing about you, but, or I like a few songs from you, but I don't like the overall everything else? So
Right.
yeah,
All
I
right.
still like a song or two here and there. All right. Yeah. Moving on. coming off his deathbed.
We got our
Jamie
first
Foxx
video.
Was pretty much dead according to doctors, yo.
So let's peep this. Having a slow computer day, to be honest with y'all.
Jamie Foxx is reportedly awake and alert after suffering a medical complication. I'm Asia Sky for Hip Hop DX, and check this out. Jamie Foxx has reportedly began his road to recovery following an undisclosed medical complication, and this information has been substantiated by Martin Lawrence. Jamie Foxx's daughter, Corinne Foxx, initially issued a statement on Wednesday, April 12th, saying that her father had suffered a medical complication and was in the hospital in Atlanta. In the statement, she said, "We wanted to share that my father, Jamie Foxx, experienced a medical complication yesterday. Luckily, due to quick action and great care, he is already on his way to recovery. We know how beloved he is and appreciate your prayers. The family asked for privacy at this time." A source close to Jamie Foxx told People on Friday, April 21st, that his health is continuing to improve, but they didn't say when he would be discharged from the hospital or the nature of the medical complication that he suffered. The source told the outlet, "He's okay, thank God. He's still in the hospital and doctors are running tests, but he's awake and alert. They're keeping him under observation." Jamie's fellow comedian and actor Martin Lawrence also told Extra on Thursday, April 20th, that he was on the mend. Martin said,
"So I'm very grateful and thankful."
I love that you mentioned them, because what's been beautiful to see here today is this brotherhood. All generations of comedy are represented here today to honor you. Notably missing today is Jamie Foxx. I know that you posted him on your social media. How is he doing, and what does it mean to have this brotherhood with you here today?
I hear he's doing better, from what I hear, and my prayers go out for him every night, and just wishing the best for him. One of the best that we got in Hollywood. Not only one of the best entertainers, but a good person.
So what are your thoughts on these reports of Jamie Foxx's...
Fair.
Right.
That is the first I've heard of any of this, to be honest.
Yeah, man. I hope Jamie Foxx pulls through. I hope he's doing good. Preach in the comments. He said, with all these AIs, you never know. I'm not sure what he's talking about exactly.
Basically, he's saying he thought this was fake news at first because the way this is being presented, if you're going to take the more conspiracy-minded approach to it, there's no pictures, there's no evidence. It's just Jamie Foxx almost died, and then all of a sudden he's okay.
I mean, that's a thing that can happen,
it
right?
sounds like an internet hoax, but it sounds like it could be an internet hoax. And then if you think about how AI content, which fair enough, but that's like where it's gonna come down to, because it's gonna take like how long until somebody starts programming AIs to create convincing news stories of this cycle, and then it creates a level of suspicion, right?
We covered AI fucking, being helping people mourn, right? And we're about to cover AI right now in the next topic, where Kanye is fire as fuck singing people's songs.
Yeah, I've been listening to those.
Dead.
I'm surprised it took this long for people. How did it take this fucking long for this to become news? I've been listening to Kanye AI covers for weeks.
What, son?
Yeah. It started coming out. I just started seeing them. I'm like...
I heard the Drake one and the Bieber one. And I like those two out of everything I heard. Like, I wasn't really going crazy for Wet Ass Pussy. Even
I like Today Was a Good Day. That was fun.
Even when they had him doing Travis Scott's Out Like a Light, which is like Drake dissing him. So it's like Kanye voice dissing himself. That one seemed kind of weak to me. There were a bunch that seemed weak to me. But like I really, really liked the other Drake one, the Marvin's Room one. That Marvin's Room one sounded like what 808s and Heartbreak Part 2 should have sounded like. You know what I mean? Like, if we would have ever gotten 808s and Heartbreak Part 2, Marvin's Room should have been one of those tracks. And Kanye singing it would have been wildfire. And then the Bieber track could have been another track on fucking 808s and Heartbreak 2. It's amazing. You didn't put on the video. We're moving on to the...
Oh, wait. There's a video?
Here, nah, there's videos.
I forgot about the video.
Oh, hold on. What are you doing?
Man.
Don't go to that one. Don't go to the next video.
Well, hold on. Like, because even this topic's bigger.
Man, we're moving on to the next topic. We're already well behind on the show. We spent so much time talking about Canada, bro. We got
That's okay. Canada's a good topic.
Move on to AI Fashion Week in NYC. We're still talking AI.
Okay. We'll keep it on the AI topic.
Eyes. Get your head in the game, man. What are you doing
in the game?
Fucking guy, man.
Fucking...
recovery. Let us know in the
boom. On the next one.
You are
Yo, I can't control the computer speed, okay? I don't know why it's going slow as fuck.
Yo,
It's beyond my
your
control.
neighborhood in Montreal is the third world country.
It's definitely going through it right now. Where's the volume?
Well, let's take a look-see, shall we, at what's happening right now on one of fashion's biggest stages. Check out this fashion show in New York City. It's the fashion show that anyone who is anyone is talking about. Colorful, futuristic designs like that one right there. They're being judged by the industry's biggest names. The people in the front row, they look pretty impressed. Wait, just a minute. Take a close look here. Anything off? Do these look like real people? No. In fact, nothing you see right now is real. Not the model, not the clothes, not the runway, not even the fashion photographer that has taken this picture. There is no fashion photographer. It is all AI generated. Hundreds of collections were submitted to the first AI Fashion Week from designers all around the world. The only rule: everything had to be designed 100% virtually. And it's not just the outfits. Participants were also asked to consider all parts of a fashion show, including front row atmosphere and backstage moments. Look at all those pictures. Pretty wild stuff. Here to discuss is Shanae Bovell. She's a model for brands like
Bro, that's so cool and scary and weird, but mostly cool. People may not agree with my order of things, but I've been waiting for holodecks and Star Trek shit.
Something that I've been talking about for quite some time to people.
Preach, that's on my mind. Preach to some.
Like, yo, at the end of the day, New York City is the I had this argument with Mickey Fax, who's also very fashion forward, fashion educated, fashion orientated, and he argued that Japan has the crown. And I argued to him that that's impossible. Japan does not have the crown. And this is a perfect example of it. And I want me to have said this on camera so I could clip this and send it to Mickey Fax. Because let me tell you something. If this AI Fashion Week didn't happen in fucking Japan, you want to know where this shit happened? In fucking New York City, son. We always the motherfucking cutting edge of everything, fam, when it comes to fashion. We push and everything that Japan is doing is a derivative of shit that came out of New York City. So at the end of the day, everybody's our sons when it comes to this fashion shit, Pete. We run this fashion shit. Even when it came to AI, New York immediately was like the New York AI, because this is the world that I'm now creating, right? And like this is a New York AI that did this. Like it was an AI in I know Preach is like, no, bro. I know. I'm creating a storyline here. So this is an AI in New York, right? And my man had Tim's on, and he was like, we need Fashion Week, son. And then the AIs all got together, the real, like, most fashion-forward AIs, and they did Fashion Week in New York City, which is, like, the motherfucking mecca of fashion for the last half a century.
Yes.
The end. AI Fashion Week.
Yo, I'm so with this shit. Yo, like Greg Creech said, why do I think you're gonna do the first AI collab album? What I would really like to do is get the AI to listen to my discography and then write me 12 songs that I then perform. I think that would be hard as fuck.
So you're gonna perform AI creative material.
But that's so like only using my music as a reference point.
Right.
So yeah, because then it's questionable, because I created like enough songs for it to use, so therefore, and I mean, I'm just really into this idea. Like I'm gonna just credit the AI. I'm trying to push boundaries with this shit.
I'm not mad at the AI.
But it has to only touch my music.
I talked about this last week when I said like New York is gonna find a way to exploit, and I think I talked about people already using AI and kidnapping, like to like extort money out of families, and like the daughter's like in the bedroom sleeping, and the family is getting like fucking phone calls about what you call it. New York's gonna find a way to super exploit this. If we haven't already. I'm surprised I haven't heard some shit from my homies. AI, but at the same time, it's here. we also mentioned, I think, in one of the previous weeks that what's his name? Elon Musk wanted to put the genie back in the bottle. Elon Musk and multiple other tech guys got together and were like, "Yo, this is moving too fast. We need to chill. This is not gonna be a good look. This is gonna end up hurting us." And they want to put the genie back in the bottle.
I mean, it's
The
like,
genie's not going back in the
it's
bottle.
quite, yo, but people don't even know how far back this goes. Like, everyone's, like, jumping on the train now, right? But, like, my entire day job career, like, we use tools where we train bots on human behavior. Like, take sentiment analysis, right? That's where it could tell if you're making a joke or not on Facebook. Trust, it knows you're making a joke or not. It just decided your joke's not appropriate for Facebook. It decided the context wasn't good. And can it do this? Of course it can, because people like me sat there and read tweets and said, no, you're wrong, this is happy. No, you're wrong, this is mad. It's been trained off of probably hundreds of thousands of humans who had day jobs and checked that terms and conditions box, and we just trained the bots off of your customer service cases and all this other shit for years. I used to sit there with the Sprout Social tool, read tweets that it scanned, it told me what it was about, and then I would correct it if it was wrong so it could tell me better information in the future. Every major company is doing this. How is anyone stopping this? Y'all are like, it's so
it's too far
it's
gone.
so far gone.
Yes,
The graphic designers and artists are only like, I mean, I don't know. For me, it's like, okay.
Yeah, it's. Listen, I don't know if it'll ever actually, because that's the thing that, like, I was having a conversation with supporter slash friend at this point that I've known for years. I've known him since, like, I was battle rapping and he was on forums and shit. And he was talking to me about AI too, and just, like, how crazy it is. And listen, man, I just think that at the end of the day, he said AI could never do what Kanye does. AI could never create what Kanye creates originally. AI can only do, right, like, a derivative of what he's already done. I don't know if that's going to be true forever, right? Like, we move with time and things change. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's very possible that AI could become, like, sentient and alive, like, genuinely in a
It
more
doesn't
what we
necessarily.
look at as human.
It won't need to be sentient. There's already this Twitch streamer girl, OnlyFans, all of it, and
Yeah,
she
we
was
talked about that too.
So, like, if you think about it, it really is just about convincing people that the story is compelling enough. And then Kanye, as much as the music, part of it's him and everything that surrounds him.
That's the thing is, it wouldn't be. Definitely not for me. Like, that's what made Kanye what Kanye is in my head to me, right? Is the music. Like, without him doing the things that he's done, I wouldn't have the reverement and respect for him at all. It's because the music was that great. It was because he did the things that he did that weren't really being done in the way that he did them, that he, right? Like, if AI can't create Mercy, that summer that Mercy came out, and, like, the way that it dropped and the way that I heard it for the first time, like, it's just like, yo, you could never, you know what I mean? You need to be sentient in order to be able to do that. You have to have original thought. You have to have the ability to create originally in order for you to be that. And
I'm
so
50-50 on that, though. Like, I feel like the AI could study enough of these moments to fake it good enough to be convincing enough to fool most people.
No, because that's the thing is that, yes, it can, and it can fool most people, right? But this is the thing that you're not remembering is, like, if you leave it up to that, then nothing will ever change. And that's where the greatness comes in. That's where the Michael Jacksons, the Drakes, the Jay-Z's, the Kanye's, the Beyoncé's, that's where That's where the Marvin Gaye's, that's where that lies. That's where that lies, in that beyond place. I'm moving beyond what's happening. Because if you leave it to AI, then okay, if AI got created when doo-wop was in, we would have never gotten hip-hop, because AI is never going to be able to conceptualize the idea of hip-hop on its own without it having a previous example of it, while we will conceptualize things of our own. You know what I mean? But again, like I said, that's as of right now.
No, I see what you're saying though. Cause no. Because like even as you're defining it, right? Like I feel like I pride myself on trying to break algorithms rather than follow them, because it's when you can break the norm and go against the grain that you can truly create something great. I'm not saying I've succeeded that well, but that's the direction I want to go. So the problem with AI is, even if you tell all the AIs to go against the mold, they're all just going to kind of end up going down the same directions and shit. And even if they can all scan it, it's really going to just take a human being in some weirdly human, perplexing situation to come up with some new shit that the AI can't synthesize, because humans go through weirdly emotional situations, and that pressure cooks us into coming up with new ideas regardless to what we've been through. Like Kanye had that whole car accident shit, right? And then he had that whole through the wire moment. AI can't do that. You can't make these random circumstances that just become these moments for people that just change them into something else, and that kind of shit. I think AI would struggle to replicate in an authentic way. And I think people would, on top of that, fact check it. And I think that's something that's going to become more important in the future, is the receipts of your actions. And people will care about the difference between what you can prove and what it sounds like at the end of the day, in a way that maybe they didn't before.
Right. I mean, listen, for me, I know I'm not motivated if I'm not being, like, I need, at all times, I need there to be somebody who's coming out of left field. Like, while I'm enjoying, and I can enjoy whatever is the vibe of the moment, right? So, like, when we're in the 90s in New York City, and all that we have in hip hop are like New York City boom bap, Miami bass, West Coast sound, being like, at that point probably like getting established, freshly established. And that's it. Those were the only sounds in hip hop when I think about it, right? Like Ghetto Boys had a sound that leaned a little bit away from East Coast sound, but it was still not an original sound. You know what I mean? I think maybe the next sound that came was like when 3 6 Mafia came out, and they had like that crunkish, I guess you could say it, sound. But the point being, there were not a lot of sounds. And even back then, there's always a craving for left field for me, right? I'm into I'm gonna be into everything from everywhere. So I'm gonna be into West Coast shit. I'm gonna be into some Dr. Dre. I'm gonna be into Puff. I'm gonna be into Jermaine Dupri and like Uncle Luke and fucking all that shit. But then I'm also gonna be craving something left. I'm gonna be craving something like Kool Keith as Black Elvis, something weird, something different, something that like is not what's happening. You know what I mean? And that's what humans like we really want. You know what I mean? Don't get it twisted. You're going to have a majority of the herd of humanity moving along fine and being like, yo, AI music is the greatest thing ever. This is fine. This is like all I need. I don't need anything else. I need AI Biggie music for the rest of my life. Like I don't care for anything else. And it's like, okay, cool. But there's still the people that influence the greatness of life and like the inspirational moments of life, the creatives that create, they need to be inspired. And they don't get inspired by AI. By like
another
what's
thing about
already
the
in
AI
existence.
music is like you need to, like, a lot of music is the live show and the performance. And thanks for the sub, Chris. Um, if like you go see an avatar performing, I promise you that's never gonna be the same as watching humans perform. Like, avatars don't sweat. And I know
Exactly.
it sounds like corny, but like,
No, it's
watching
very
that
real.
sweaty ass performer get
It's
off
different.
stage, I gotta go
It's
smoke a
totally
joint,
different.
walk outside. Like, that's part of it. And
Yeah, that's part of
that's
it.
where you're gonna
And
start.
without
That's
that
what people
type shit,
forget about, I think. Everyone,
that's like
but
stand
don't get
up.
me wrong.
People say,
AI
hey,
about to fuck up Spotify numbers in a way you probably can't compete with.
yeah,
But it can't
absolutely.
touch your in real life merch sales.
Right. And again, right? Because I wasn't saying like, oh, stop AI bad, none of that. What I am saying is that AI can only inspire the non-artistic, and they would be able to be like, oh, this is good enough, because they're not thinking about outside the box. Artists are the ones that are like, yo, I need to be different than everything else. There's always human nature is, and I can tell you because I have that bug in my head where, like, if I see 99 people going in one direction, my natural human instinct is to go in the other direction. I don't care if it's the wrong way. I don't care. I refuse to be a part of a herd. And there's always going to be, so out of 100, there's always going to be one that's going to
Well,
be a
I
breaking
think
of the
like
pack.
I think what's interesting about what you're saying is just from inspiration, right? Like, I think there will be a lot of people that rely on AI to basically do the job for them, but like, not all my songs are inspired by music. Sometimes I'll like see a
Yeah,
pile of garbage or some shit,
life.
and like actually, I don't know. I listen to Björk, and Björk uses like nature and shit. So if nature can be music, and then you start thinking about that musical she's in where they clink and clank and shit and fucking make songs and whatnot. So like, I don't know. I think there are artist people in art, and there are commercial people that are like literally just there to create products and art. The product crowd is gonna thrive to the AI world. Then you're gonna have the humans that like making art. Like, I don't want an AI to make my art. I might make an art project with AI, but to me, it's an art project with a point and a principle, and it's got a whole thing
Right,
to it.
right,
So
right.
I think the intentions are still going to be where the difference comes, because like, I can explain my art, and I don't think an AI will be able to explain their art in a meaningful way, and it's gonna be kind of shit like that. Anyway, that's just kind of what it is. We've been on this topic for. I like
We're
this
gonna
topic.
skip some. We're gonna skip some topics so that we can start getting to the end of the topics
Fair.
line. Um, Alan Hughes Tupac docuseries is starting to make noise. I told people about. We talked about this last week with Alan Hughes doing this Snoop Dogg, and when he went up to the Breakfast Club talking about what he's got on his list of things he's doing. um, this first thing was up, and it was a Tupac docu series, and I watched the first 2 episodes, and amazing. The third episode's already. The point that I'm really trying to get to is that it's already making. I'm seeing it make the rounds. Like, there's clips being taken from the docu series and being covered in Complex and fucking all these outlets. All the outlets are covering this original content because apparently Afeni Shakur, Tupac's mother, gave her blessings to Alan Hughes, and she gave him access to stuff that she had that didn't exist or on in the world. Um,
So what you're saying is there's fresh Tupac stuff that literally no one
fresh
has seen
Tupac stuff.
before, after all this time, which
He did an interview right before he died on the set of Gridlock, where, like, he's not being the Tupac that we imagined from when he died. The guy, because the last images that we have in our head is of him jumping a guy in Las Vegas, right, and like then causing this retaliation, and it's just like that's not the full truth, and that's just not, you know, there was also stories of him working with Buckshot and the Cocoa Brothers, Smith and Wesson, who you recently worked with.
I did get to drive them, yeah.
You know, on a One Nation album right before he passed. And so in this Gridlock interview, he was talking like really like peacefully and really nice, and like talking about opening up his own production house, focusing more on acting than making music. But then he also said he wanted to evolve more. That he felt like the All Eyes on Me project was an emotional project. It was from an emotional standpoint with a particular emotion, right, which is clearly anger, you know what I mean, more so, and that he wanted to, you know, do something with a more broader spectrum, more Dear Mama, clearly, you know, maybe probably even more revolutionary type shit. So, but yeah, you know, you should watch it. Everybody should watch it. The
Right.
Tupac docuseries.
Apparently, the Outlaws are unhappy though, and they're saying Alan Hughes never loved Pac and is using his name for money.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, listen, I told my wife, I was like, it's funny style to me. I'm like, I expect him to make him look bad at some point because I mentioned it in last week's episode. The fact that the Hughes brothers got beat up by Tupac. And, you know, he did some clearing up of that. We'll see, you know, as it plays out, if he really does end up leaning into any negative aspects. But in the 2 episodes that I watched, he really hasn't. Like, and actually he like addressed, you know, the whole situation. And he's been addressing it on the press run for this. And he keeps on clarifying that Tupac didn't beat him up. 50 guys did. Like 50 people in Tupac's entourage beat him up. Not actually Tupac. You know what I mean? Like, and how he really loved him.
No, and I've heard that before too.
He directed Dear Mama, or, you know, not Dear Mama, Keep Your Head Up, and some other music video for him. I think it was Brent's Got a Baby.
But I feel like he's clarified that on Vlad and shit before in the past. Like I've as you were saying that, I've seen that clip before where he's long before the docuseries has come out. But anyway, basically, yeah.
And so that.
Oh fuck! The Zoom just kind of cut. We're gonna get that back going. I don't know which is the next. Oh, did I just close Zoom? My bad. I'm not even sure what the next topic is exactly, so it might be the one that I have here. It might be something else. I hate multitasking. Not my strongest suit, but we doing it. Getting through it. Going to invite. Boom, boom. Done. Going over to Facebook. Sending link. Link is sent. Shout out all of you for coming through. Appreciate everyone that like, I know we appreciate everyone that pulls up on the lives and really takes time out of their day to be with us and listen to it. Like, we really like this show. I think this is one of the funnest streams I've been a part of that we've maintained. So I like this style of content, this more casual approach to it. I'm very aware that it's just a Zoom call. Like, we're not even, you know, we're just having fun on this one, so it's nice. But yeah, I kind of like the next topic. I don't know what it is, but Tyler, the Creator, has plans for his death is an interesting sounding topic.
Right. Press play on the video, man.
I'm getting it. I was doing all this shit at once. I put the wrong fucking thing. Boom, copied it. So yeah, we'll watch the video now. Hopefully it goes quick.
Tyler, the Creator, recently revealed that after he passes away, he does not want any of his unheard music released. I'm Asia Sky for Hip Hop DX, and check this out. Tyler, the Creator, has revealed that he has a clause in his will prohibiting any of his unheard music from being released after his death. Tyler made this revelation during his intimate concert at LA's El Rey Theater on Wednesday night, April 26th.
Some of these are so good, I can't just let it sit on my hard drive, because I have in my will that if I die, they can't put no fucking post out. That's fucking gross. Like, that's like, some random feature on it, some nigga I didn't fuck with. Like, you Tyler, like, no.
I love you, Tyler! the concert, he performed his latest project, The Estate Sale, for the first time ever. The show was filled with many memorable moments, including a run-through of an unreleased song called Penny. Tyler revealed that this track was the first song that he recorded for Call Me If You Get Lost and is a freestyle over Rich Boys Throw Some D's. He also revealed that the reason that he was performing it is because some songs are so good that they can't just sit on his hard drive, and he also has it in his will that if he dies, the music on his hard drive will not...
Alright, she's just repeating shit.
Yeah.
That was trash. I don't know why I cropped like that. That's a wild thought. That's probably going to become a thing that happens a lot more in the future.
Right.
Especially with AI.
Right. Let's get to the next topic. what did you
I personally would rather like my family make money off of my shit till I like whatever and release that new music and fuck it. Like, cause I get that, like, as long as my estate, we can call it, remains in control of my shit that's unreleased, I'm super fucking comfortable with them. And even if the label does some whatever, as long as, you know, the family can eat off of that shit, I'm dead, you know? Like, people are gonna know it's the posthumous shit, and everybody knows how posthumous shit works. So I don't know if that, like, any of the Pac albums that got released posthumously changed anybody's perception of Pac's career. It's not like anybody's like, oh, that came out after. That was just stuff that, you know, people know came out later. So if that's how it be, and people can eat off of my life like that, and then let's say, like, my people can still make new songs with me after I'm gone, you know, like, there's so much more potential for that. So I'd be personally comfortable with people releasing my music when I'm gone. But I could see why people might not be.
Yeah, I would say for me it's a no. I'm a no go. I'm the same as Tyler. Like, I'm the only person that, like, and if it's not, it's the same thing as the AI, right? We're like, nah, bro, I need my brain behind my shit and what I do. Like, my brain has come up with, like, when I was looking at my discography, and I'm like, yo, my discography is full of concept albums and concept projects. You know what I mean? Like, every album and every project that I did had a concept, and even if it didn't, it would be like, okay, Bionic Ninjas when me and Jess first got together for a duo, or Bronx Zoo when we got together as a group. Like, so it's like a group project. So, like, but even then, I'm spearheading it and, like, organizing it and, like, sequencing it and, like, getting the tracks together, instrumentals for certain people together, like, all this shit. I'm doing it. Like, nobody could do what I do. So, like, I refuse for any of the content that I have to come out of that, unless it was something that I had already, like, let's say right now, I'm in the middle of working on volume 4. The name's already decided. I'm in the middle of working on my EP. The name and the idea of it's already decided. A majority of it's done. If I were to die before, like, I get to put these out, I'm very comfortable with, like, my wife and my friends putting out those 2 projects for me, because I want them out. But, like, anything else beyond that, like, nah. Like, do compilations. Feel free to do compilations. Make money off of my name. Like, everything's gonna be in my wife's name anyway. So it's like, you know, she can have that. But, like, the originality of it, and, like, maybe even letting, like, my voice be like AI, and AI try to make, like, volume 5 of the Littyyy Bros. Like, nah, fam, you bugging. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, that's not happening.
I mean, I look at it like I would not want anybody willy-nilly to control this shit, but, like, the AI gonna make songs off me if it wants to either way. At least have a way to get bank off of that shit. Cause, like,
I definitely have, like, control of my estate and my music and everything. You know what I mean?
Like, I don't want to just have it be random, and then I would just hope the people I trust make good decisions. But nah, I mean, I don't know. I also don't just have this crazy bank of shit that I don't want released. Usually, if I finish something, I'm like, one day that's coming out. But anyway, so interesting ass topic. Let us know if you have plans for your music after your death in the comments. I know it's a dark topic, but I'm mad curious what you think.
Right. Holden remembering the thing we talked about in the meetings.
That's facts. I mean,
So
sometimes we
like
on point, sometimes we sleepy.
you got like a red X for like the fumble with the videos and the topics lacking earlier, but now you got a gold star for this. So like
Facts.
you're balanced out. Humanity.
So International P's back from the dead.
No,
selling
no,
clothing.
no. I
Oh,
said
we're
let's get to the trailers, my guy.
Oh,
You
my
didn't
bad,
hear
my
me?
bad. No, I didn't. I
Shit.
did not. See, I just lost my point
Shit.
super fast. That's how it works sometimes.
I'm telling you, I told you before this one that we're skipping topics.
I'm multitasking. I know we're skipping topics, doing a lot at the same time with a fucking computer being a piece of shit.
I want things to stay the way they are. Can't stop time, Wendy. Whether you like it or not.
Gotcha! You were flying. A little bug did it.
I don't think that's a bug.
She is a fairy.
Are you Peter Pan?
Were you expecting someone else?
I can fly! Is that
Neverland! Is this everything you dreamed of?
I could never have dreamed of this. What is this place?
No rules, no schools, no bedtimes, and most of all,
No growing up. Are you Wendy? Tiger Lily.
Peter.
Peter!
Captain, it's Peter Pan. Never say his name.
Don't touch my brother!
miss me?
Just like old times.
All your times are old, Captain.
Everyone hang on!
Did you hear that?
That is one big...
To grow up might just be the biggest adventure of all.
Alright, that's a hard trailer. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, that hits like all those emotions where, like, I don't know.
Disney is wildfire. That's why when people be having all this Disney hate, I'm like, you gotta chill the fuck out, bro. Like, there's wild, and I don't. You know what? Real quick segue. You know what? Let me hold on.
Just
I'm
run
gonna hold
it, run
that
it.
thought. I'm gonna hold that thought. I really like the trailer. I'm watching it because Yara Shahadi is in it. She was in Blackish. She's the one playing what's the pixie's name?
Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell. She's playing Tinkerbell. This looks like the best Peter Pan that I've seen in trailer format ever. You know what I mean? I've seen the other Peter Pan movies.
I like the fact that they all appear to
evolves
know
with
what the
time.
fuck Peter Pan is. So it feels like...
I think Peter Pan is one of those stories that lends itself to be able to change with times and still be appreciated. Because no matter what, there's always a new generation of kids that like want to get away from home. You know what I mean? Like that they don't realize how good they have it at home. You know, and so like it's just like an eternal story that like always works. You know, versus like Sleeping Beauty. That's like I don't know how like that's like way like Stevie nowadays. You know, like kissing a chick while she's sleeping is like, ooh, okay, pedo rapist or rapist at least for sure.
Peter Pan's a really good one. And like the story behind it too, that like Finding Neverland movie's fucking hard. Anyway.
There's been good, cool representation. The Finding Neverland movie was cool. This looked cool. Disney, get to the point about Disney. Yo, people be hating on Disney, and then it's like they're the evil corporation. Like they're the evil corporation. And it's like You know Crest and Colgate, and like there's so many worse companies that aren't even trying to entertain you. They're literally just trying to ruin the earth and like get you like hooked onto a product that like literally does you bad to your system. Like Disney is not fucking trying to like, like, yo, these are like this entertainment. You don't have to tune into everything that Disney does. You know what I mean? And then when you do tune in, you don't have to live your life by it. You know what I mean? It's not like a company that's producing gasoline, vehicles, a company that's producing products for your home that have like products that are bringing bad chemicals into your body. Like we're talking about entertainment on a screen. You can choose to not watch it. They're not the big bad evil corporation that everybody else tries to make them. Like everybody who uses Disney as the Disney, it's just like, yo, bro, you gotta chill the fuck out. You're probably wearing Hanes underwear. You probably use Colgate toothpaste. You do so much helping and benefiting of shitty corporations that are shitty as fuck to the earth, and you're picking Disney to pick a fight with. Like, pick your fights better. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying.
I don't know what Disney owns, but it depends. I'm just trying to, Anyway, Disney be a conglomerate. People are often mad, I think, because Disney's copyright is ridiculously enforced. So people are highly reminded of the law when they face Disney. They do some questionable business practices, and they're very monopolistic. So there is a lot of concern for Disney.
All companies are monopolistic.
But Disney delivers.
Companies are monopolistic.
Like Disney Plus is pretty good.
Doesn't Rupert Murdoch now own like Fox News and like NBC News or CNN or some shit like that? Like
that's just. I'm not pro that shit. How is that
not monopolistic?
But like people, it is. To your point, the food monopolies are probably something that is far more worth us targeting as a people.
Kraft owns.
Or PepsiCo is scary powerful. Like people don't realize.
Is scary powerful. There's so many other people in line before Disney. It's an entertainment company.
I'm not even mad at that.
They provide Disney themselves provide us with movies.
Let's say big picture. There is the conversation to be said that any company of that size controlling media spheres of that power can have brainwashing potential. So on that front, maybe there's something that could be. I'm not saying it because I don't really see it, but there is the potential for danger down the line. But there are bigger evils to me.
They have danger in the aspect of like owning multiple media, right? And like owning the news that they own, right? Even movies are damaging in the essence of like, if all you're depicting is white faces and white characters all the time, like you're poisoning the well. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
But
PepsiCo sells you poison. The sugar lobbyists, all these motherfuckers. Like, anyway, the food game's crazy. And there's other shit. Or like Walmart's probably not your best friend, even though they're affordable. Anyway, so there's lots of evils out there in corporate land. We do have another trailer, though, I believe. So I'm going to get that loaded up.
I think it's another Disney trailer.
Disney be doing good work. Like
they be doing quality shit, baby.
It's kind of what it is.
Quality entertainment.
Oh, come on, computer. It is Disney.
You were born here, raised here. This dome is the only world you've ever known.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
There's a place just off past the Eastern Ridge. Right there.
Dad, what are you talking about?
You'll see. Get out there. To the crater.
Whatever's out there, your dad wants you to see it.
We've never even been outside the dome before.
So what's it gonna be?
We're leaving tonight. I hear she's weird.
Why?
She's from Earth.
So?
The peculiar. You're peculiar. All in favor? Let's go steal a rover.
The lockdown will commence. Come on! In 5, 4, 3, 2.
I like the follow bobblehead referencey thing. Makes me think.
You know the best thing about road trips? You get to leave everything behind.
Here it is. Bottom of the ninth. The wind-up.
The sky on Earth, is it really blue?
Yeah.
Wow.
The most important thing to remember.
This is a bad idea.
Watch out!
It's not just about where you're going.
Meteor shower! Addison, run!
It's about how you get there. The people you get there with.
Caleb, what's in the crater?
I don't know. Guess we'll find out. You guys go first.
You're never quite the same as you were when you began.
These were the best 2 days of my life.
Disney fucking with Cutter. Definitely I'm watching it. They fucking my boy Cutter. Disney just they do a lot of quality shit that I fuck with genuinely. I love they brought my childhood to life with Marvel Studios, and they've done a fucking outstanding job. If we're talking like average, like baseball, they're batting like 400. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if we're talking about like fuck that. Matter of fact, they're batting like 800. Like they're batting like, yo, they've knocked it out the park 8 times out of 10 with me. You know what I mean? So like I fuck with them heavy. And then they do shit like this where like, yo, some movie like this, and then they got Cuddy in it, and I'm like, what? They got my boy Cuddy in this, son. I gotta watch this. I gotta support Cuddy. Cuddy's one of those people that like, same as like Andre 3000, that like I always have watched everything that they do. I watched during pandemic, there was a show that Andre 3000 did that nobody watched. That's kind of like Revolver. Andre 3000 fucks with a certain type of people in Hollywood and in movie business that like the rest of everybody else like in the culture doesn't fuck with. You know what I mean? And he does like other artsy fartsy type shit. And Cuddy is like over here doing this fucking commercial ass shit, which is like amazing. You know what I mean? I'm definitely gonna support.
And it looks so fun. Like, and I
super fun.
like that our picks are family
Coming of
friendly.
Age tales.
This is the family friendly portion of the Our Perspectives.
Right. All right. This week's topic, bro.
It's time to. This is our new segment, or I guess evolve segment. But yeah, go on.
Since we've been right, like when you look at what we've been covering today, it's been nothing but death. You know what I mean? The death of careers, the death of people,
The possible death of creativity.
The death of creativity, the death of broken records, right? Like Ryan Garcia's undefeated record got broken. Jamie Foxx coming off a deathbed. You know, the Tupac docuseries, A Dead Man. You know what I mean?
It's definitely the running theme.
A lot of death. Do you have anything you wanted to say to somebody that has passed away that you didn't get to say?
I definitely would like to say to my grandma who passed a few years back that I took her seriously about her advice that was sometimes very critical of my public-facing behavior, and that I did understand time and place, but she just saw me at the time and place where fuck was appropriate more often than not. So it was unfortunate that that's where she went on Facebook. I'm like, come on, you went on Facebook. She had to unfriend me at one point because I was too offensive and shit. But yeah, so like I think she would have appreciated hearing something to that effect before she passed, and I missed that opportunity. And yeah, people like need to know that. I think that their impact was felt. It's in that like give flowers conversation, but I think for family members, a lot of times you don't even realize how much they impacted you until they pass, and you're like really like going, oh shit, I can't like make that time anymore, and you're just kind of left to go, damn, this is all the shit I would say if I could. I don't have that feeling. Thankfully, there's been very little death surrounding me, but both my grandmas passed. The other grandma wanted a postcard from Israel I never sent, so if it was an action, it would be something like that, sending that postcard that I could have done for like 5 minutes of effort.
Right.
What about you?
Yeah, man. I have so many people that I have like so much like you're like you by you bringing up grandma made me feel like, oh, what a scumbag. I didn't knee jerk reaction think of my grandfather, but like I've just also had so much death across my life the last few years, especially last few years, like the last 10 years have been rough, bro. Rough. And so I just have so much that I want to say to so many people. You know what I mean? Like, recently my homie Black K passed away, and like he lived right there to me, and we did not spend a lot of time together. And it's because like, he would tend to be a little bit more negative, and like he was very, he didn't like anything. You know what I mean? Like he was. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you a story about my big brother Black King. So when he's one of a part of my crew of friends that like they were like older when I was younger, and they were like ones that taught me how to rap. They taught me how to freestyle. They taught me shit. And like there was one time that like I came over, and like they taught me all sorts of things. You know what I mean? And like we used to be chilling at like the spot, and they all lived together, like a majority of them. And then like we all the ones that didn't live there just were like in and out on a regular basis. There were like at least 8 of us in there. And so it was like a gang fucking hanging out on a regular basis. I'm the young guy. And so I had started working my first job fresh out of high school, which was in the music industry, working street team, marketing and promotion. And I got to fucking, go to wild pool events. And I had albums. I would get albums early sometimes. And I got Old Dirty Bastards, Nigga Please album early. And I took it over there, and yo, they did not want to hear it. Black K in particular was like, fuck this shit, and flung the CD across the room, which is actually like a recurring story now that I think about it, because I was thinking about like another story where like I had brought a tape over, and the tape had Eminem's I Never Meant to Give You Mushrooms Girl, Jay-Z's Jigga My Nigga, Dead Prez's It's All About Him, over, and I had put that tape in, and that was like when those songs were all first coming out, and they did not like those songs. And Black K in particular was like, this shit is trash. Took the tape out and flung that shit across the room. He was notorious for flinging some shit across the room that he did not like. And he did not like a majority of shit. We were the greatest thing ever in rap to him, though. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that. Like, that is something that, like, I appreciate. Like, he never stopped loving me. Like, to him, everybody else was trash because he knew me, and he knew Hot, and he knew Broadway, and he knew him, and he knew No Morse, and everybody else in the crew. And he looked at us as like the gods of rap. And like nobody could be better than us. You know what I mean? And so, like, you know, regardless, I appreciate him for like a lot of things. And I didn't really like get to hang out with him much, and I didn't let him know how much I appreciated him. But and I saw him like a week before the last time before he passed away. Like after not seeing him for a while. And it was always like, things always are, you know, where like we never miss a step, and it's the same as like back then when we were younger, and I was the young boy in the crew, and you know, the guy that fucking
Right.
right.
All right. So the next part of the segment is we're gonna ask AI the question. So ChatGPT here. Let me share the screen, and then we're gonna move into song of the week. So I'll just leave the screen shared. But so I have it typed in there. Do you have anything you wanted to say to someone who passed away? And it's gonna give me some bullshit thing. So we're gonna see what it says. So far, it's saying basically that it's giving you general advice on how to deal with processing death. What would you say to someone? What would you say to a fellow AI who passed away? Just trying this here. So, as an AI language model, I do not have personal emotions or experience, and I cannot speak to the passing of AI. However, I can acknowledge the impact and importance of AI technology and the contributions that AI has made to society. AI is brought around, da-da-da-da-da. So, it would focus on the accomplishments of this person, and it would then want to say that. We're going to have to guess and interpret AI, but some of these questions is going to do better than others. I was like, AI don't know nobody. It's going to struggle on this one. But it did give you interesting advice on seeking out, like, self-care and shit like that. So shout out ChatGPT for giving a fuck about the psyche of somebody that is going through that shit, you know?
Yeah. Because, you know, that, and it happens and it hits us all, and we all grieve. I saw somebody, Tiffany Foxfire, shouts to Tiffany Foxfire on Facebook. On Facebook is her profile name. She's a real person from real life that I know also in real life.
Even I've even met her in real life.
Yes, you have also met her in real life. Tiffany is somebody that I met on the internet first, but she's one of those people who is like super down to pull up to whatever you're doing in person and support what you're doing, and I love her for that. And she was talking about like, you can't tell me how to grieve, and like on Facebook, and I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Like everybody grieves differently, yo. Everybody grieves differently in different ways, and different deaths hit different people in different ways.
And you can't tell people if that Snapchat AI or whatever helps you, or Replica or one of them other AI tools, like if that's your joint, run it. Like, don't let other people stop you from having what you need out of that shit. Personally, it's not my steez. I'm going to goof on it. But it's not lost on me that there are people who lack people to talk to in life. And if you can somehow find comfort through having an AI giving a shit, I know it sounds like what it sounds like to whoever may not understand it. But, like, I'm all for robot pets and all that type of shit. Like, old people need to jump on that robot pet game and things. Anyway, I can keep going on. But we do want to move into Song of the Week. Thank y'all for being part of our ChatGPT experiment. So the first one I got, this one is I would call it one of my favorite joints from Montreal, and it was stuck in my head. So we're going to run with Nate Husser's Catherine. Gosh, my computer's torturing me today.
St. Catherine stripper, sitting there, my life is like an acid trip, spinning in my cup full, spilling, and it's been a long day, don't get your ass kicked. Nigga, I'm that bastard.
St. Catherine's our downtown strip.
I'm making a music video off my phone.
Why?
Because it's gonna be fun.
I'm 100 and no on St. Catherine's strip. A sinner in my life is like. It's like. I'm 100 and no on St. Catherine's strip. A sinner in my life is like an acid trip. Spinning in my cup fall, spilling, and it's been a long day. Don't get your ass kicked, nigga, this that bastard. My mama did the best and I ain't lying. Please don't blame her for this nigga losing his mind. I only came up, only hearing about niggas dying. Every other week was some bullshit killing my vibe. Who gonna have my back while I'm watching the other side? Ain't got no older brother, my older cousin inside now. So I guess I'ma ride now for myself since I won't die by myself. Cause I got too much pride and I can't even cry to myself. Look, I was raised in the hood downtown, but that shit was covered by a cloud. Got used to the gun sound, see my best friend's guts on the ground there. For days that were left on the pavement, on the same path I would take on the way to school. Changed nothing but the way that I hang with dudes. I used to bang with dudes. Even taught me how to slang the fool. Kangaroo, jack niggas change the moves. Back then we was making major moves. I can't lose was the attitude. And these are the things that the cat to do to any nigga or anybody passing through. She'll feed you when hunger strikes, cashews in the belly of the beach. That's fast food. Do you cry? 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 Oh, you got too much pride. Too much pride. Too much pride. Who gon' ride? 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 Yeah, who gon' die? 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 Yeah. I'm 100 and on St. Catherine stripper. Center in my life is like an acid trip. Spinning in my cup fall, spilling in it. It's been a long day. Don't get your ass kicked, nigga. This that bastard. Look, I hate the bank. Love the bank, tell her though she got a rack. And what I tell her, here, deposit this and give me all it back. And hundreds please, dollar bills. This rap shit is real. I take my dope, money copper grill, cause that's just how I feel. I used to wrap my teeth with gold foil from the caramel chocolate bars as a kid. I still had bars even then. And boy, I was a boss at 10. Making 20 cost me 10. Still waiting on my Father's Day. Give I turn these boys to men and friends to foes and wives to hoes. See niggas let their lives below. See niggas lose their lives for shit that ain't even worth fighting for. And this is who I write this for. These are my adversities. That's why it'll cost you all of this. Complimented it for a verse from me. And I'll spit you all the birds and bees. My juice burn like the 3rd degree. And my family begging me to stop cursing in these verses. But it's me personally. I ask, do you cry? Do you cry? Do you cry? Boy, you got too much pride. You got too much pride. You got too much pride. Yeah. And who gon' ride? 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 Who gon' die tonight? Who gon' die tonight? Who gon' die tonight? Who gon' die tonight? I'm 100 and 0 on St. Catherine strip. But sitting in my life is like an acid trip. Spinning in my cup fall, spilling and it's been a long day. Don't get your ass kicked, nigga, it's that bastard.
Yeah. That would be my song of the week.
I didn't even send you something.
No, you did not.
Let's do some like 90s R&B.
Why don't you look
up Playa, Cheers to You.
Playa.
How about that?
Tears to You? Or
Cheers to You.
Oh, cheers
to you. After all this death talk, let's do a little cheers to you. Cheers to all you players out there.
I wish he never left you feeling like this, 'cause I can feel your pain. But if you just could get over here, maybe someone will look to your mind. Girl, I'ma make it better. Now can we dim the lights? Let's make a toast that it will be alright. Cheers to you. Funky baby. Yeah. I'll be your angel. I'm gonna be your angel. Young man. Cheers to you. Cheers to you, baby. Yeah. I'll be your angel. Do you understand me? Young man. Like a little say. I know we can win. Can depend on me through the thick and thin to the very end. I got your back, so open your heart
This is produced by Timbaland, son. That classic Timbaland production. Alright, cut it off there.
There's like half a song left.
What happened?
So there's like half the song left. But yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, cut the song.
Alright.
Fair. Right. What are you doing this weekend?
After this, I'm gonna get merch. My merch order of tank tops and hoodies and shit that I bought is in. So I'm gonna pick that up and then go to a couple of events and try and sell some merch. Because every weekend, I gotta be finding somewhere to go, sell some merch, write some blogs about it. Otherwise, I don't really have any plans. It's one of those loosey-goosey, we'll see how it goes, and maybe I just stay home, but probably not. We'll see how the weather is weekends.
Right. I'm planning on working this weekend and watching the Formula One Grand Prix on Sunday, and probably check out that Sisu movie if I get some time on Saturday night. Yeah. That Sisu movie, the violent one that they're killing, that homies like John Wick of killing Nazis and shit in like Nazi Germany or some shit like that.
Right.
Yeah. That one. Go watch that this weekend more than likely at some point. And Formula One on Sunday. Watch that. Get some work in. And I think that's it. Yes. Came back to 90s R&B. Facts, fam.
And but yeah, so have you ever gone to the Montreal Grand Prix yet?
Nah, I haven't gone to the Montreal Grand Prix. I haven't actually gone to a Grand Prix. We discussed this on one of the early episodes.
I know, but the question came in.
But which is plug. So please tune into Our Perspectives.
This is
earlier
episode 9.
You know what I mean? We're on episode 9. You can catch
oh shit!
up with
The
everything.
fucking Zoom's about to clip.
Yeah, nah. I definitely want to go to one. That's what I talked about in that clip. Was like, I want to go to a live one. I was probably going to try to go to the Montreal one because I enjoyed Montreal when I went. So yeah, you know, I'll be up there in November again. Word.
Yeah. Word. So we appreciate y'all coming through. The Zoom is about to die, so Flacco jumps off. Anyway, I appreciate y'all being here. He'll be in Montreal later on this year, which is dope. I'm going to be in New York next month, so that'll be dope. So looking forward to creating more content for all of y'all, some different types of stuff. Our double AB episode, the next episode of the Main Perspectives interview series is coming out on the 1st. And yes, Flacco will be coming to our third world country visiting. Fuck. I fell off the Zoom entirely. I'm going to jump back on so you can just see my face. I know you can still hear me. But yeah, he's going to come out here. I lost power like, 4, 5 times in like the last month. So it's been kind of weird up in here. But anyway. So yeah, make sure to check out the double AB episode of this is coming out on the Perspectives Perspectives Pod YouTube channel. And then if you fucks with what we do, patreon.com/perspectives, and you can get yourself a guided tour of New York City or Montreal from that. I forgot to update the Patreon thingy in the scrolly bar, but it's Perspectives as spelled in the way the show is. We'll be back next Friday at noon for the live stream at twitch.tv/behindthatsuit if you are down to come be part of the live conversation. And then you can watch the episode later on YouTube if you're down for that side of it all. Appreciate everyone who came through for the live. And yeah, apparently it's my neighborhood and a whole bunch of spotted ones across Montreal. It wasn't just my neighborhood. It's just Chris Chrome did not lose power. So he's making it sound like his part of NDG is more bougie, which it probably might be. I digress. Appreciate everybody part of the experience. Thank you so much for hearing our perspectives. Live long and prosper, everyone. Like, subscribe, comment, because I forgot to say that. Have a great day. I'm gonna go get my merch. Yeah, Ismail's up the block for me. He's around the corner. We just waiting on the raid now. Have a great weekend.